going back home, back to Godhead, you can't go with this Panchamahabhut Shariram unless you are like Janak Maharaj, who has transformed each and every molecule of his being into transcendental molecule. He went Sadev, right? And he was extremely pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Purity, it should not be understood only in a limited way. It is immense, it is unfathomable purity. And Janak Maharaj he is one of the examples who went back to Godhead in the same body. So it's a wholesale transformation. But one has to be acquainted with the knowledgeability about Sambandha Gyan and Abhideya Gyan. So both are going to be exchanged. But Prayojan Gyan, it will take time. In the degree of our surrender and service attitude, the Prayojan will be many. So one has to follow the progressive development methodology. That's Rupa Goswami, speaking about Adav Shraddha Tato Sadhu Sangatha Bhajana Kriya. You are entering into Bhajana Kriya. Then Anartha Nivrittis Tato Nishtha. So all are faithful, but our faith is exhibiting different degree of convictions. A convicted faith, or one who has run away has to be convicted. He got caught. So there are different connotations in conviction, but conviction is a self-realization. And the progress in the Sambandha Gyan through the Abhideya is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. That's a definite progressive aspect. And then at that time we are advised to associate properly. We have to seek the association of those who are advanced, so we can advance. We can't remain neophyte all our life. Some people may think, I have taken initiation. I won the world now, hell with everybody else. They don't contact with the Guru, they don't contact with the God brothers, they don't participate in the temple programs, where it's a systematic overseeing of the development of the devotee. Alone we cannot do. Prabhupada, so very important that we have to have a temple, because it's the center, the heart of the movement. It should be kept throbbing. You can't give heart attack. So you have to be very, very careful. So generally in the first initiation, the efficacy of the holy name has to be realized, and the holy name is so pure and glorified that we have to be aware that ignorance cannot help us to advance. So we have to remove ignorance about the efficacy of the holy name. If ignorance is continued, then it will accumulate anarthas. Just like the mist, and then the cloud. They are all made up of water vapor, and water vapor in the air is suspended only in the absence of the sun, means the knowledge. Right? So the efficacy of the holy name has to be realized. Even one who is serving the holy name, like Haridas Thakur, even though disqualified by any qualifications, he didn't have any. But yet, he trusted the holy name, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciated. So in Harinam Chintamani, you will see the efficacy of the holy name. And he insists that one has to be acquainted with the efficacy of the holy name and help to establish our faith, strengthen it according to that understanding. So, the mist, the clouds are compared to the anarthas. Mist is compared to the ignorance. Cloud is compared to the anarthas. But dense darkness, when the sun itself becomes obscured, then it is called aparadi state. So it is the grossest manifestation of all that is not removed from our heart. But the holy name is very efficient. That's why the importance of the holy name is extremely important. Without that, you cannot advance in the devotional service. The foundation of the devotional service starts from chanting Hare Krishna Bhagavatam. And that you are accepting. Even though you are chanting since a couple of years or whatever it is, you have gone through the primary requirement, but still, when you are committing your vows of 16 rounds without fail daily, then you are committing for 4 regulative principles also. Both are the parts of Pancharadri Vidhi as well as Bhagavat Vidhi. Bhagavat Vidhi depends only upon chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, and Pancharadri Vidhi where the do's and don'ts will come. So, refraining from 4 regulative principles that you will be asked, it should be anchored in your heart and brain. So whenever something comes up in a confrontation, then you can immediately put the sword of knowledge to protect yourself from that onslaught. So, Haridas Thakur is explained in this way that the potency of the Lord, which is called internal energy of the Lord, potencies, they are very much essential for the internal makeup of our being, which is called soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. Even though the body is also part and parcel of the Supreme Whole, but it's of different energy. And Krishna is not to be found in that. Even though he has created, but he says he does not stay in the material energy. Only he is covering himself within the realm of spiritual energy or internal energy. So, the efficacy of the holy name is how the spiritual master Srila Prabhupada has given the 3 bija syllables in a Mahamantra, Hare, Krishna and Rama, and explain that meaning. We have to always think it that way. It is a call for our engagement in service of Krishna by approaching Srimati Radharani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. always be anxious to approach that potency so we can understand the desires of the potential. Because potency is manifested to give us the actual understanding of the potent. If potency is not manifested, we will be bereft. That potency is manifested. And this manifestation, Haridas Thakur can understand that it is everywhere. Even in the material aspect, the potency has been reflected through the beautiful things, the most important thing. How would you understand through even the physical aspect? Pranavasavara Vedeshu and there are so many examples. Raso aham apsu kaunteya prabhasa shishiryoho. These are all physical manifestations, but they are energy principle. Whether transformed energy or these transformations are important for our physical existence, but nonetheless it has been created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He may not be staying in that, but it gives us a medium to act in such a way that is congenial to the understanding of the potency and the potential. All right? So, when we go deeper into understanding the internal manifestation, and especially the Vaishnava behavior is transformed through internal potency. And this behavior is very much required to exhibit the development of our progressive realization. One has to have 26 qualities, but they are all spiritual qualities. But they can be divided into two. Just like in science, the body has two different somatic quality and genetic quality. Right? Genetic is to be studied through deeper understanding. The somatic you can see when a child is born in the family and everybody is elated to see how does a child look like? Oh, he has a nose like his father. Oh my God, that's very good. But these are somatic qualities, apparent, but genetic. But beyond the genetics is the spiritual development. And Vaishnava character has to be developed. So naturally, the initiates are also beginning to develop that Vaishnava character and advancement. You may target 26 qualities of a devotee, that is the standard, but development in all gradual and make it perfect, that is required. But it's a gradual development. So this bhajana kriya, the abhideya, is going to make you progress. So naturally, when we see that are there any obstacles, are there any impediments in our progress, you have to be alert. So there are 10 offenses, the gross, which are caused by our inattentiveness, must be carefully understood and recited daily so you remember forever. The first and foremost offense is to blaspheme a devotee who has dedicated his life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. What amounts to be a blasphemy or critical that one should not indulge in this because it's a very dangerous zone to criticize a devotee. What does it mean? And those who are propagating the holy name of the Lord, where does he get the potency? Krishna Shakti vina nahi kara pravartan. One cannot even give the holy name to somebody else without the potency of the Lord. And all the potencies are in his holy name. But who is serving the holy name, how can he be criticized? Otherwise, Krishna himself is not available to anybody and everybody in his person. Naham prakasa sarvasya yogamaya savamrita. And also, according to the Mundaka Upanishad, nayam atma na pravachane na labdhya na athava bahuna sutena va. He will not be available by all this so-called mechanical studies or knowledge acquiring systems. But he reserves the right to expose to whom he chooses. To whom he chooses. So, how is it that we can interfere or we neglect his independence, who is a Swarat, and try to bypass his jurisdiction? No, it cannot be possible. So, one who is preaching, or everybody who is at least chanting Hare Krishna. Haridas Thakur says, even if he has chanted once, he should be considered a devotee. What a standard. So never blaspheme, never criticize him. Then on the other negative side, if a person is there, papita pijata chilo hariname uddhari. That is a very rare quality. It is completely unheard that such people can be even delivered through the holy name. But the potency of the holy name works. So you can't criticize. When Jagai hit on the head of Nityananda Prabhu and started bleeding, the Lord doesn't bleed. But nonetheless, it created a thunder in the heart of both Jagai and Madhai. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with angry mood, raising his upper hand for Sudarshan Chakra, they are really petrified. They got petrified. Jagai and Madhai. They surrendered immediately because of the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu intervened. He says, my dear Lord, the whole world is filled with Jagai and Madhai. If you start killing, you will have to kill all of them. But no. You have come. You are using the weapon of the holy name, and their mentality will be killed. So Jagai and Madhai understood. They fell at the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the request of Nityananda Prabhu. So, without the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, who has opened up the Namahat to distribute the holy name, it is performing so much important function throughout the world. So, the potency, one should not dare to criticize such a person who is trying to preach the glories of the holy name. In that sense, if you go further, you should not criticize anybody. You can't criticize even your enemy, but you don't stand in before him, otherwise you will be implicated. Get out from there. You may discuss something just to prevent yourself that not to come in front of him again. That's okay. The second offense, the remedy for first offense is only to beg forgiveness, just like Jagai and Madha, piteously. Piteously crying at the feet. And only a Vaishnava, who is a progressive devotee, he will be able to forgive without any reservations. So, the second offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva and Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. You want to cook it? Good. The second offense is to consider the names of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. This is, even a person refrain from criticizing the fellow devotees, but they harbor some ignorance because of maybe the association. Not understanding the revealed scriptures. One obtains from any such a resource of sentimentalism or attainment of the demigod worships, different kind, and they think everything is same, because that also involved in Pancharatrika system, but no Bhagavad Gita is there. Even though Krishna explains this about the demigod worship, in Bhagavad Gita, Yanti Devata Devanti Trunyanti Putra Bhutani Bhutani Imam. People, they are obsessed just for the sake of misguidance. They think everything is same. If everything is same, then why you are struggling? If everything is same, why you are struggling? Why do you face unhappiness even though your desires are to become happy? He doesn't understand that it is an ingrained system by Lord Brahma, Rajo Adhika Karma Paradukhecha Sukhamanina. Such people are obsessed to find out newer and newer means, just as a bypass of surrendering to the Supreme. They invent new demigods which are not even in our Vedas. In 1960, early 60s, 60 or 61, the Santoshi Maharaj came up. And there is no reference in the Vedas at all. And I think it started from Gujarat. And the methodology to worship her, and only on Friday. Yogeshwar Prabhu. Okay. You can start coming here. We have some vacancies. Another example. Durga Devi has expansion, and there are how many? 9 expansions? Navaratri? Right? 9 expansions are there. And somehow or other you will find that in every locality they start worshipping their Kuladevi, which has no place in the Shastra. Kuladevi. For what? And they all want to utilize the same methodology of worship to them. But some peculiarity. Like in the worship of Santoshi Ma, you can't eat anything sour. You have to eat jaggery and chana. You live all day on that. You can't eat any other things. And the ladies are profusely spreading. And we were getting chain letters. You know chain letters? Huh? Yeah. How Sai Baba of Shirdi became famous by chain letters. One chain letter comes. Previously it was coming in the printed postcards, the cheapest system. And he will urge, why don't you send 10 to your 10 postcards, and you will be getting the result. You know, your desires will be fulfilled, and this and that. So, Andhayatha andhaihi upaniyamana. Pishatantra. Pishatantra means it's a very rigid and complicated messwork of entanglement. That's called Pishatantra. Urudamni baddha. Matimna Krishna swataha parvato vahamitho vipatyet grahavratanam andhayatha andhaihi upaniyamana. Teta Pishatantra urudamni baddha. This is the thing. It's only they can get slapped only by Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and no other literature. Such is the condition of the jivas. Jivas are inventive because they are number 4 category of creators. But they create from the created. And third time being created, the 4th is a new product. Just like the recycling. They will recycle anything and use the same product. Right from the paper, plastics, from electronics, they melt electronic gadgets to extract gold. because some of the transmitters require so much conductivity through a particular metal. In India we use aluminium wire. This is the worst conductor. And that's why the electricity fails many times. Others use copper wires. Right? That is little expensive. The third one will use silver wires, more conductive. So, the metallic nature is recycled for the benefit, but it's all creation to creation to creation, and the fourth great creation is by human beings. The demons can also create. Mayadanav can create from nothing the assembly hall for the Kauravas, the Pandavas, in Hastinapur. Even Lord Krishna told him to do a similar job in Dwarka for him, and he did it. Demigods also create, but they are called tertiary, number 3 creators. So, thinking demigod is a creator, let me approach. Oh, all the demigods have different departments. So, okay, I can bribe them to cut short. Ganesh, please make my child pass in the examination. Even father, mother, everybody. Because they see examinations are getting tougher and tougher, and the children have to pass through. And there were scams in Topper. So many toppers were coming through political pressures, and they were exposed. What a fun! So they think demigods are the real gods that are going to resolve their situation, but they don't understand that demigods are also created beings just like them. They have been invested with more powers. So what? But it's physical in nature. They may have long life. So what? It's a thankless task for them. And whatever little life we have in Kali Yuga, we do not want to thank Krishna that you are giving me opportunity to make my day. And Yad Gatvana Nivartante, Tat Dhamam Parmam, you are showing me. And people in ignorance want to remain in the realm of ignorance, and they want to compete. How much ignorant are you? How much are ignorant me? They want to calculate your so much knowledgeability on the strength of ignorance. Just like we are calculating our happiness on the strength of how much unhappiness we have. Rajo adhika karma para dukkhe cha sukhamanina. Dukkhe cha sukhamanina. Dukh is there, but that becomes your parameter to calculate your happiness. It's not the happiness. So, those who want to cut short, Yanti Dev Vrata Devan, Krishna says, they are not me. I have given them something to control this material one. Pitrunvata pitrunyanti, bhutaji bhutetyayanti, madhyaji napima. They don't understand the position of Krishna. And they say, yeah, I read one chapter every day. I was also reading. But until I came to my senses by reading Śrīmad Prabhupada's books, could not believe myself that it can transform. So, we have to understand this offense by proper deliberation, that Krishna is the root cause of all causes. From everything emanates from Him. Everything is emanating from Him. Everything is sustained by Him, and everything will be destroyed by Him. So, who can be equated like Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva? Brahma is the secondary creator, and Shivaji is enjoying the destructions. When Brahma dies, he will dance. Otherwise, and every night of Brahma there is pralaya. Pralaya means flooding or inundation. But when Brahma's life is over, Shivaji does Tandav Nritya and destroys the whole, universal existence. And there are so many Brahmas and so many are being destroyed. So many Lord Shivas are there, expansions. So many. So, how do you equate their position, their power in front of Lord Krishna? The third offense is to disobey the orders of spiritual master. A spiritual master is not your family man. He has only spiritual relationship. He may increase your devotional service by enthusing you in different arts and sciences, according to his realization and his aptitude. He can utilize anything, but it doesn't mean familiarity should become contempt. So, when we become too casual with the spiritual master, we tend to sleep off. Arche Vishnu Shilati, Guru Su Narmati, Vaishnavir Jatir Buddhi can, breed as a hellish mentality. So, we have to be careful. The purpose is spiritual. This is our spiritual relationship, and we should grow simultaneously. By making you grow, I will also grow. By distributing spiritual knowledge, I will also increase my realization. But I don't have to invent anything. You do not have to invent anything. But an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Sometimes devotees fail to observe their vows because of some difficulty. They think they are so weak and they are succumbed to pitfalls. So they come, we can give them enthusiastically so much boost so he can revive. But after all, one has to keep commitment and need association proper to conduct even our sadhana. Alone we cannot do. That's the first principle. Therefore, spiritual association, starting from spiritual master to other god brothers, and within the family also, all the problems can be resolved. If the family where husband and wife is taking initiation, they must consider each other as Vaishnava. They should begin their day by offering obeisances to each other, and there will never be fight. Yes. So these are spiritual instruction, but it can happily be performed, right? To find out newer and newer means we are inventive, right? But our invention goes in favor of Krishna, not. Otherwise, many have a habit, dump everything on the head of spiritual master. Can you imagine how many headaches I will have? Yeah, but I have to find out, and I have to resolve. I will help them. By helping them, I also understand that it's a good methodology, to keep the spiritual relationship going. Spiritual master is our well-wisher, and we have to follow him in order to advance. The fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth is to think chanting of Hare Krishna to be imagination. And sixth is to interpret, to give some mundane interpretation to the holy name. All three are antagonistic for a materially educated person. Materially educated person, they think, if they are not in association with the sorry, I'm not addressing those who are spiritually educated. So, materially educated, they are obsessed with their so-called academic learning. And they think that they are authorized because of they are acquiring the degrees, MA, PhD, DSc, whatever it is. And Prabhupada says, what is this? We have personal experience on this. I have a cousin. She is a little elder than me. And while she was doing her master's, I came across two of her dissertation on studying of Rupa Goswami's Lalita Madhav and Vidakta Madhav, two dramas, all right? And I was already initiated, and I was surprised. How come academicians take liberty for these so-called scholars to hair split the transcendental literatures? They do not practice themselves. They don't chant Hare Krishna. They want look into the tutelage of a spiritual lineage even, and they take liberty. So such people, and just like even in Vrindavan, the Vaishnava tradition that Srila Prabhupada brought, it was a pinprick in the eyes of so-called authority taken by the Kathakars from Mayavad Sampradaya. They were not in straight line. Akhandananda Saraswati. But in front of Prabhupada, everybody becomes khanda. Right? So, we can imagine that we are so scrutinizingly studying our own literatures, and we found immense realization when we progress in devotional service. Immense. We have this lifetime not enough to read all these books that Srila Prabhupada presented. But try to utilize. Because we are practicing devotee, and those who are not practicing devotee, they don't have authority, but they take authority in their hands. So they commit these three offenses quite often. When they interfere with their academic knowledge into the esoteric science of Krishna consciousness through the revealed scriptures. So they think these Vedas are nothing, and the Britishers took the Vedas to study for themselves so they can manipulate and bring it back to misguide us. Max Muller and company. And Srila Prabhupada was very aware but very friendly to Dr. Stilton Jedi, then Harvey Cox, then Dr. Larry Shin, and Thomas Hopkins. These four are very prominent Indologists. They were teaching in prestigious university, but they really appreciate Srila Prabhupada because Srila Prabhupada was challenging them, inaugurating them. Then whatever that tradition, bipolar understanding about Vedic, and that is to Vaishnavism, because they don't practice. But yet they became very inquisitive and respectfully understood Srila Prabhupada. Like Prabhupada would give them challenge. So, you are all theologians, right? Means you must know who God is. And they will try to scrutinize what does Prabhupada mean. And they keep mum, They want to analyze what Srila Prabhupada is telling. But Prabhupada's language is so simple and penetrating that it is difficult for them to immediately respond. They think twice before responding. Yes? So then Prabhupada would tell, theology means knowing who God is. Who God is, not what God is, not how God is. That is a subject matter of different denominations. Alright? But who God is, and God is one, they know it, but they can't pinpoint that this is the personality. So Prabhupada will teach them by saying, see, you are all having your own traditions, but you decipher God according to this denomination, this should be God and other. So you are not united. You are theosophists rather than theologians. And such a word, startled them. Because in India we have Theosophical Society by that French lady called Annie Besant. It's a hodgepodge Hinduism. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Brahmo Samaj is another, slap, misinterpretation. to blaspheme the Vedic literature. They were the foremost, and Britishers used them. To blaspheme. Congress was created by Britishers to blaspheme the Hinduism. And they were the one who wanted India to become secular under the name of secular. And they ruled for 70 years, destroying our Vedic culture. So how many people have been corrupted? What do you think that they will think about the Vedic literature? What is their opinion? We don't care even. Because they have been exposed by Narendra Modi government. Right? But anyway, to blaspheme the Vedic literature, in pursuance of the Vedic version, any literature which is also to be respected because it has same Vedic conclusion. In the same way, to think that chanting of Hare Krishna is an imagination is for those atheists who are offenders. Who are offenders. I remember in 1980 I came from the United States to my hometown because my grandmother passed away. So I was the first son in the family. She had a lot of attachment to me. And she was favoring by giving me goodies by hiding from the others. So somehow or other we had some bond. So I came to India and I decided for the first time I should go to Haridwar, it means to Delhi, it means to Vrindavan and Taj Mahal. Alright? So I had only 2 weeks. And I came. I saw in the newspaper, Gujarati, called Gujarat Mitra. Gujarat Mitra is published from Surat. And that is the local newspaper. And I went through and I saw one article about a person who was trained in Dhyana Yoga, right? They generally do not use mantra. They want to go underground and simply meditate. There was an ashram called Mota Ashram, and Broj was a nearby city. And that person, seeing the popularity of Hare Krishna movement, because Prabhupada took in 75, so many devotees brought in India, and the first city was Surat for Sankirtan, and they got so much response, and Hare Krishna Mahamantra became familiar and household word. So this person constructed a similar mantra, he thinks. And he was advertising for his ashram, was empty anyway. So he said, chant this mantra and you will get to it. And what was it? Hare Soham, Hare Soham, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Mohan, Hare Mohan, Mohan. They manufacture mantras. And they think it's quite competitive. But how can it befool people? The potency is not revealed. It is not given in the Shastra. How can you manufacture a mantra? What is your potency that you are going to invest in the few syllables of mantra, the formula? No. I never heard of him afterwards. So this is the kind of interjecting or hijacking or interpreting, misinterpreting and blaspheming the holy name. Similarly, to give mundane interpretation to the holy name. Prabhupada gave us 3 direct meanings of Hare, Krishna and Rama. And the meaning was ascertained as a service mantra, seva mantra. There are other mantras of the same name, like Vedavyasapriya, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. It's not found anywhere, but the investment of surrendering attitude to Lord Krishna is there. But we understand from Srila Prabhupada, if somebody tell him, Jai Shri Krishna, and Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna. That is the response. We are not averse to that. But the Jai Shri is Radharani and Hare is also Radharani. So why to fight? Huh? Why to fight? People of short intelligence, they try to interject. Hare Krishna mantra is given for all Kali Yugas. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted, because he came, he said, Hare Krishna. And it is filled with so much potency, that is rest assured for next 10,000 years. This will be the ruling of Vaishnava characters. Prabhupada's books are standard for next 10,000 years only. So, we have to get out before we run out of that time. How many times you want to come back? Yeah, Mama Janmani Ishwara. Okay, come, but watch out. Next 10,000, not more. And 535 years already been passed. Earlier the better, Prabhu. The 7th offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. Prabhupada says the neophytes, those who say, oh, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 times, it takes 2 hours, okay? And meanwhile, chanting, even our head spins somewhere else. We think of something else. And we try to prioritize, things and in the mental conception instead of putting our mind into the holy name. Then gradually develop the form of the Lord in meditation. Then further advancement would be on the qualities, the transcendental qualities. And the 4th one is understanding the Leela. Not just like that. But when we are not on any of these stage, just hear Shravanam and Kirtanam. Not anything else. That is a system, it has been described, and we are letting them know. Otherwise, there is undue liberty has been taken as if we know. We have a sort of contaminated enthusiasm, and we want to interject. And it is not unnatural. In the beginning, the devotees were so much enthusiastic by the presence of Srila Prabhupada that they overwork. They work on the emergency, level. That early times, even though there are few devotees, but they will run away and go to other place where Srila Prabhupada is arriving. They will reach before Srila Prabhupada arrives and they will greet him at the airport. Srila Prabhupada, early devotee, he is remembering, and he wrote an article on this. Prabhupada coming. Such an enthusiasm you will never see amongst the devotees. It was a historical situation. How much struggle they had to go through. Even though there were few devotees, say about 26 at that time when San Francisco temple was open, right? But Srila Prabhupada would go to Los Angeles. So devotees run before Srila Prabhupada and reach to San Francisco airport to greet him. The same number of people are there, but they are seen everywhere. Can you see the level of enthusiasm? Huh? Paritrikananda, he was, I think he's still there, but he wrote an article in Prabhupada's Disciple, just as a reminiscence. He describes that in San Francisco, Srila Prabhupada was coming and they had to fix his room. Alright? So Karandar was president at that time, and the devotees were given talks. At that time, the second time, the number of devotees increased, more than 40 were there. Alright? And they were working day in and day out just to fix the room and the temple. They were overworked. They were unable to chant their rounds. But they would make sure that they will finish their round even the next Mangalarti. They don't have sleep enough. Alright? One time Srila Prabhupada was there and they were struggling to stay awake during Mangalarti. And Prabhupada would notice everything. Can't escape. Then, even after Mangalarti, they have to chant. They have to finish their rounds before they start on. They can't work without prasadam, but prasadam was extremely rich and healthy. And this was the hooking point. This is the bait, what we call. So, some devotees, to be having a good book of the temple commander or somebody who are there working under, they would try to keep themselves awake by keeping a bucket of water on their head and chant. So they won't fall asleep. Alright? He said during the kirtan, devotees were supposed to dance. If they don't dance, they will fall asleep. And the extreme was, if they jump, and during the jump, suspended in the air, they would take a big relief of closing the eyes. And all of a sudden, a third will be sounded on the stage, and the person would be collapsed. So, this is the struggle. But it was very hilarious. All right? These 40 devotees have to get up for Mangalarti compulsory. Compulsory. And during that time, there was only one bathroom, one toilet, and there was limited water. Karandar himself would stand with a bucket full of water and mug. All right? Prior to that, he has to see that they have shaved head or not. And the same old blade will be used, and people have weird cuts. Sometimes it makes them Mayavadi also by removing the whole shikha. So, even the devotees have not, what do you call, the bright face, or because they are overworked. Nonetheless, everybody made to Mangalarti. When they take bath, only few mugs. Come on. 1, 2, 3. They count 10 and get out. Matajis were not there at that time. So anyway, Prabhupada said that this is the enthusiasm, that they work so feverishly. Now if somebody thinks, oh, I chanted my 16 rounds, now I can do any damn thing the whole day. That is a wrong mentality. Because it's a seed of committing sinful activity from the strength of the holy name. Prabhupada gives example. Like that. Never think that now you are free to do anything and everything because you have chanted your round. Means to commit sinful activities on the strength of that holy name. The holy name will save. It's an offense on the holy name. The eighth is to consider chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as karmakanda. We are not karmakandis. Karmakand is having a sankalpa, something material, or even at the extent of some attachment to the family members to send them Grashanti or this or that, Navchandi part. They are karmakandas. But we are not karmakandi. Our commitment and offering is on pleasing Lord Krishna. That's why we are ready to commit our vows to chant 16 rounds daily without fail and following 4 regulative principles. And we will offer that as homage of our sacrifice to please Guru and Krishna. So, it is not karmakand. We have to clean up anything which is not congenial in devotional service. We should be very protective by proper understanding and deliberation. Number 9 is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. There are 2 kinds of faithless people. One is an absurd, doesn't have anything in belief. And second thing, those who are obsessed with other mantras, demigod mantras, or something which are not described or prescribed in Shastras for the deliverance from the age of Kali. They were more meritorious within that time period, but that cannot be applied for Kali Yuga. When Brahma and Narad and Kalisantana Upanishad of the Yajurveda emphatically tells that besides this 16 syllable Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Iti Shorashakam Nam Kalikalmashanashanam Natar Paropaya Sarva Vedeshu Drashyate. Sarva Vedeshu na Drashyate. So why do we have challenged the Vedic authority and construe or misconstrue different mantras? Do you think it is a selling perk or a popular situation? One has to be serious for the purpose of getting rid of this miserable birth, death, old age and disease. So, mamupetya tu kaunte dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatma samsiddhim paramahangaya. Everything is said in to what Lord Shri Krishna is telling to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. And so much conclusively. Does it need an interpretation? A Mayavadi interpretation? No. Does it give us liberty to manufacture a mantra? Hare Soham, Hare Soham? No. No. So, ninth offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. We have to kill the snake, at the same time spare a road. Spare Mahamantra. If you can defeat somebody, alone is not advisable by Rupa Goswami. Always go two. Because others may need to help you in beating up that guy. Oh, we need a protection, a kavach. So this instruction is very helpful. And those who are Sankirtan devotees, they say, oh Maharaj, we do not know who is faithful and who is faithless. We have to approach both equally, with equal intentions. I said, yes. But one who responds you negatively, why do you have to stay there? Get out from it. If you want to do a little favor, just throw a pakoda in his mouth. Give him prasad and get rid of him. Let prasad take care. It's a mercy. So, and the 10th offense is not to have complete faith in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, even after understanding so many times the efficacy of the holy name, and to maintain material attachment in ignorance. So, two things cannot work. You can't ride two different directional facing horses. You will have to put your foot on one horse. Actually, spiritual life is entire material life. But don't be afraid, I'm not threatening everybody. You will come to your understanding, you will come to your senses later. It's the power of the holy name that will make you give up so easily without knowing that the needle has entered in your body. If material science can make a device that you will not feel even a prick of a needle. I'm taking daily injections and these needles are coated with something that you do not feel at all. That the needle has gone. So, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the transcendental needle that enters into our life. and we'll do the job. Just get inoculated by Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So, we have to be aware of these 10 offenses. We have to put enough attention by daily reciting the 10 offenses. Otherwise, inattentive situation can beget the whole 10 offenses. Then our process will backfire. Thank you very much. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. So now the important aspect. Thanks, you did not smear on the head. Okay. I have 8 plus 2 initiates for the first time. 2 are in India. They will be waiting for on Zoom or who knows where. Oh, they are online. Okay. So I will call Karthik Prabhu and Girija Mataji. Stand up, pay your obeisances to Sri Prabhupada and deity, and then come and pay your obeisances in this direction. In Andhra Pradesh and elsewhere, this system that both husband and wife pay obeisances together, it cannot be isolated. But they have to start paying obeisances to each other in the morning too. Right? But this is a very nice culture. It is Vaishnava culture, you know. And that they were planning to go to Vaikuntha, but I said it's Goloka is better place. Anyway, Karthik Prabhu, do you promise to chant 16 rounds without fail? And what are the 4 regulative principles? These are your beads forever. Generally, devotees give me second set also for chanting. That is not fair. Your name is Kirtaniya Sadahari. Mr. Late Comer. The drum is late comer. Girija Mataji, you also promised to chant 16 rounds without fail. Yes, and what are the 4 regulative principles? Very nice, thank you. I'm conferring your new name as Guna Agamya Radha Devi Dasi. Guna Agamya. Radha is glorified with such transcendental qualities which are unimaginable. Agamya, not to be, realized ordinarily. Hare Krishna. Let's take it. Rajesh Kumar Gulati and Priti Mataji. So, why you are giving me promise to chant 16 rounds without fail? And what are the 4 regulative principles? You are well educated. But Gulat Marwan chhodi devanu. That was in Gujarati, sorry, those the meaning is do not somersault. Means you should not go back. So, I'm giving you a spiritual name as Rashika Sikromani Das. Rasika Shiromani. Right?
Rasika Shiromani Das ki.
And Priti Mataji follows his footsteps. Okay? So you also promise 16 rounds without fail. And what will be the 4 regulative principles? Wow. Good. I'm giving you the longest name so far. Call Prem Tarangina. Where is she?
She's in the back.
Huh? Oh, there, all the way. I'm going to set up a competition. I'm giving 3 Prema Taranginis. Wait a minute, some distinction will be there. So you know half of the name already. Your new name is Premananda Tarangini Radha Devi Dasi.
Premananda Tarangini Radha Devi Dasi ki.
There are 1,000 names of Radharani uttered by Lord Shiva, to Parvati, because her original form was Radharani, and she was very anxious to know about her true nature. So Lord Shiva educates her. Radha Sahasranam has been compiled by Lord Shiva himself, and this is one of the names. That was another name, and the third one, okay, sorry. Take your seat. Devraj Prabhu and Dimple Mataji. Da-da, da-da.
Come back, Shana.
Yes. Pay your obeisances. Kids know this is their second home. Okay, so they have every liberty. All right, Devraj Prabhu, you promised me chanting 16 rounds without fail. And what are the 4 regulative principles?
No intoxication, no gambling, no meat eating, and no illicit sex.
What a relief. Your new name is Deva Deva Jagatpate.
देव देव जगतपति दास की
बिल्कुल ना अतल जी आगे आएगी थोड़ा. So you will be also following in your husband's footsteps and make your life perfect. You promised me chant 16 rounds without fail. And what are the 4 regulative principles? Watch out, she's a lightning. Oh yeah. Huh? Your new name is Damini Radha Devi Das. Vijli. Don't call her Vijli. Alright, take your seat, Prabhu. And Paresh Prabhu and Krishna Mataji. Came to that put his back. So it is very difficult, but they are taking. So those who are not chanting, they must be sweating. So therefore I said, don't you perspire? Because he has to take a very solid vow. So you promise, and following 4 regulative principles, and just tell loudly so everybody knows.
Yes, Gurudev.
What are those?
No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication.
Wow. This is the sure path for realization of Lord Krishna, who is called Pareshanu Das. परेश का तो परेश ही पर अनुभव करेगा नाम रखा है परेश लेकिन अभी परेशान अनुभव करना बाकी है right so yes भक्ति ही परेशान भव विरक्ति त्रि एक काल simultaneously this happens. Just like prapadyamanasya kshuta pushti tushti cha anugasa. When we are hungry, desperate of taking food, that desperation is mitigated. When you get the first morsel in your mouth, the effect will be that you are getting satisfaction, you are also getting nourishment, and you are also getting the irritation of the hunger. It's a direct experience. So, bhakti has to be fructified. And Parishanubhava means the Supreme Personality of Godhead will be revealed. And the third thing, virakti, means you will not be so much entangled in the worldly affairs. You will be a mukta jiva. So this is the process. Okay. All right. Khushbu Mataji, are you very famous for your khushbu? No, that's why you're taking khushbu mala. But anyway, you also promised me to chant 16 rounds without praying. What are the 4 regulative principles? Okay. Now she is the 3rd Tarangini coming. But Radharani is also called Krishna Prema Tarangini Radha Devi Das. The real Krishna will come in. So take your seat. Those who are taking Brahman initiation, please reconfirm your vows. Hare Krishna. So Parthasati Prabhu, you are confirming your vows.
Yes, sir.
Chant 25 rounds on the Kadashi.
Yes, sir. I will chant 25 rounds.
Good. And just reiterate 4 regulative principles.
No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
Jai, thank you very much. They have the Brahman thread. You keep in there. You keep it in your plate. Mataji, Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Dasi. When are you coming to Vrindavan? You'll be there for at least Maharashtra Yatra?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make it sure. Okay. And you also reconfirm your vows, chanting 16, 25 on the Ekadashi, and please reiterate the 4 regulative principles. Oh, thank you very much. May you progress and the proper perspective with Brahman qualities and engage in it for Archanam, Pujanam. Thank you. Hare Krishna. We have 2 Mataji's, mother and daughter, in Mumbai. They will be also taking initiation vows. Hare Krishna, Puja Mataji and Santosh Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. So, Santosh Mataji, आप 16 माला का जप कर रही है ना? 4 नियमों का पालन भी जानती है ना? वो क्या क्या है जरा बता दो ना. यहाँ लगभग 250-300 आपके ही बच्चे हैं.
No intoxication.
Oh wow, English.
No meditating. No gambling. No illicit sex.
Oh wow. Jai. Actually, Krishna Bhagwan is all in all. पर राधा रानी भी कम थोड़ी है. तो शिव जी राधा रानी को सर्व कारण कारणम देवी दासी कह रहे हैं. जरा टच कर दीजिए. सर्व कारण कारणम देवी दासी. लंबा नाम है लेकिन अच्छा है. पूजा माता जी. माता जी आप भी बोलिए. 16 माला का जप का वचन देती हैं.
हाँ जी प्रभु.
के 4 नियमों का पालन. जब माँ बता सकती है तो बेटी क्यों नहीं बताएगी?
No intoxication. No meat eating. No gambling. No illicit sex.
Krishna bless you. This name will remove all incompleteness in you. Don't feel that you are incomplete. Actually, the body is always defective in the first place. So you don't have to worry. You can't make your body perfect, neither I. Alright? But we can make our soul perfect in connection with Krishna back that we lost him in the first place. So, आपका नाम रखता हूँ मैं पूर्णतर राधा देवी दासी. कृष्ण तो पूर्णम है ही, लेकिन राधा कम थोड़ी. पूर्णतर. She is the complete whole for Krishna. So thank you very much. ये लोग आपको DHL से भिजवा देंगे. हरे कृष्णा. आप अभी यज्ञ में दर्शन कर सकती हैं और आपके पास यदि कुछ है आहुति देने के लिए तो रखना और कभी कहीं और डाल सकती है, लेकिन आप मंत्र आहुति तो दे सकती है। और जय प्रभुपाद की जय। Put this
Ali God.
Good. So put it in place. All right. Who? Me?
Oh, this one I had to hold.
Sat down, like he sat
Whenever
down. Can you stand up? Can you stand up?
Babdi. Broadcasting.
सदा पश्यन्ति सूर्यदिवीर्माचक्षुरा ततं तद्विभ्रांसो विपन्यवजाग्रमांस समिन्दते कृष्णो यत्परं पदम् ॐ माधो माधो वाचि माधो माधो रतिसहं साधो सत्कार्येषु माधवम् ॐ कृष्ण Vishnu Vai Satchidananda Adi Sarvakari Mukhnadis Prabhu Pujo Krishnadis Sajadantar Bhajyan Mangalam Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Om Swasti no Narayana Narudi Swasti Swasti no Vishwakshaya Vishveshwara Swasti no Vishveshwara Swasti no Venitayo Hari Swasti Panjana Sato Bhagavato Dadatu Swasti Swasti Samangale Kesho Mahasrishna Sachidananda Sarvesharesho Dadatu Sankarata Swasti Me Krishna Swasti Lokeshwari Krishna Dashya Kurunta Swasti Me Lokupavana Sriyashram Samkhaycha Samkhasmi Sarva Vigna Vinashma Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Naham Vipro Chanarapatim Napi Vaishyo Na Sudro Naham Varnishya Na Praktin Na Vanasto Yatirva Kintu Pradyan Nikhal Paramanandam Purnamrutabde Gopi Bhartu Padakamayo Dasada Sada Sanudas Divyam Sri Hari Mandiradhyam Kalpasimum Numanantam Tasmavintam Bhakshastri Harinam Uparam Shikhandam Duttam Puna Bhutam Sukshmam Namambaram Vimalatam Vahantitanum Jaya Sri Gurupada Padmanikade Seva Sukam Chatmanaha Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Namo Shabadaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachadre Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschadre Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Panaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavaditmastu ma Vidvishamahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhur-Swaha Om Bhava-Swaha Om Swaswaha Om Bhur-Bhava-Swaswaha. When I'll ask you, pick up grains and between two fingers and the thumb and offer, when I say swaha 3 times, so 3 times offer it. So every mantra would have 3 offerings, okay? 3 means confirmation. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuः Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Swaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Namahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Swaha Vandeham Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Anvitam Swaha
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishnaprishthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Vedavyasapriya Swami Iti Namine Swaha
पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी चारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे स्वाहा 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 नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने श्रीभाषभानवी देवी द्वैताय कृपाब्दये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः माधुर्यज्वल प्रेमाध्या श्रीमान रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्ध अपसिद्धान्त स्वान्त हारिणे स्वाहा 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 नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बर सांबोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः स्वाहा 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 नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते स्वाहा 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 गौराविर्भाव भूमेस्त्वं निर्दिष्ट सज्जन प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः स्वाहा 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 वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा 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 नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिगं स्वाहा हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश Namostute. Swaha. 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 Jayatam. Surato. Pango. Mama. Manda. Matehe. Gatihi. Matsarvasva. Padambojo. Sri Radha. Madan Mohano. Swaha. Swaha. Divyad. Vrindaranya. Kalpadrumadaha. Śrīmad Ratnagara. Sinhasanastho. Śrīmad Radha. Srila Govinda Devo. Prishthalibihi. Sevya. Mano. Smarami. Swaha. Swaha. Śrīman Rasa Prasarambhi Vamshivata Katastitaha Karshan Venu Smanir Gopi Gopinathaya Yastunaha Swaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Shri Hari Priye Swaha Swaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Swaha Swaha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha Swaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare बाकी की सामग्री और केला दोनों हाथ में अंजलि लेकर खड़े हो जाओ प्लेट नीचे छोड़ देना
We're supposed to get it now? What are we supposed to do now? Here now? Oh my god!
Dad loves it.
Maharaj. That means
नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगत हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगत हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमो ब्रह्मण्य देवाय ब्राह्मण हिताय च हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः सामग्री साइड पे केले डालना अंदर चावल इत्यादि जा सकते
Do we have to throw these vegetables?
Put on the fire so it touches the fire. Mataji, put it.
Oh, snap.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I'm probably sure that.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna, wait. रुक जाओ. Initiate पर हो जाने दो फिर आना.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
बरी अच्छी
कैमरा घेतला
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
say some words
Hare Krishna Mahamantra Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 3 राउंड उनके बाद हो गया 12
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
You have to collect donation. Now only start. Go over.
Hare Krishna. I'll get the village. Yeah, Diksha I will do first. Hare Well, cash, your money cash.
I will bring.
Oh.
I gave him. Where is my cash, man? I told you to bring.
Some little. Only credit card.
Useless money.
You credit card only. Pay by credit card. Yes, ATM.
It's finished.
Arey, Prabhu, thoda change कर दीजिए.
I have limited. Take from their bag only, na?
No. You small.
I'll give you $50.
I will do the swapping. Who has more changes? Who has more change? Who collected more? Who collected? Prabhu, let me see how much you collected. So that much only. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Your blessing.
Let me see how much money collected. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, how much you collected? Sorry. I need some change. So I will give the other devotees some.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva,
Hey, Gunama. Hare Krishna. Ye Mataji Purama.
Jaya Gurudeva,
Take them from there. I don't have change. Prabhu. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Who is your master?
Huh?
Who is your master? What is your master name?
His Holiness Vedavyasapriya.
Who is your master? Who das you?
I am Dasam Das.
What is the Dasa name?
Congratulations, Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Naya name?
Rasik Shiromani Das.
Hari Bol. I am recording Prabhu. This is online. Gulade. I think I don't know whether I gave it to you. Thank you. Hari Bol. Devanu. So who did I not give? Who else? Who else? I think I did. Prabhu. So let's take 10, put into Mataji. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I hope I give it to everybody.
Dude, I've already lost already.
I will take one for you. Give it to others. Sorry. No changes. Hare Krishna. Who else? Our Mataji Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, with all your blessings. Thank you. And then
Okay. Prabhu, Saka?
This is
Prabhu, recording this good, huh? ಹೇಳ್ತಾ 2-3 ವರ ಆಯ್ತು. ಹಾಂ Maharaj.